Welcome to our live stream of high school sports. Please note that this broadcast is produced by an independent team of sports enthusiasts, and the views, opinions, and commentary expressed are solely those of the commentators and not representative of the schools, teams, or athletes featured. While we strive for accuracy, occasional errors or misstatements may occur. This stream is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Thank you for joining us and enjoy the show.
Yeah, come on, let's go. Hey, you ain't never seen nothing like this. Ain't no telling how it might get. It's the hypest right here. High school sports at its finest. So many highlights, you have to rewind it. Hey, Stream City, let me just remind you. The heart of a lion, a team full of fighters. So many stars on the field, it'll blind you. They're giving everything they got till the time's up. Yeah, legends in the making. History is made. We just getting started. You ain't seen a thing. YSN, gotta know the name. They gon' bring the flames. They gon' do their thing. Take it to another level, don't hold back. High school, got a passion and we show that. Got the drive and you know they got the heart. #1 spot for your high school sports. Let's go for the win. Hey.
Hey, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It is a Thursday edition of YSN Live. DJ Yoakley with you alongside the 8-time best-selling author as well as the world traveler. Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Ronald Hartwig. Ronald, how are you today, my friend?
We're doing good. It's a Thursday, kind of gloomy, but I'm feeling energized and ready to have a great day. It's the only September 4th, 2025 we got. So
that's it. So we're gonna make it the best one. That's it. I love it. And it is gloomy. Not just gloomy, it's rainy. Okay.
It's rainy.
Let's address the 800-pound gorilla in the room. It is rainy today. Some have been waiting for this, wanting this. My wife being one of them, because she doesn't like to go out there with the hose and water the plants and stuff like that. I get it. However, for those of us who have a particular program that runs 6 p.m., usually outside, not ideal. Not ideal. Could have been Wednesday.
Maybe the weather's a little bit better over in Beaver. Who knows?
I doubt it. I live pretty close. And I'm guessing it's a lot of the same. A lot of gray skies. A lot of rain right now. But that's okay, because guess what? We're still going. And I think we're going to be inside. Pretty sure we're going to be inside. And I'm excited. You, my friend, are going to be inside.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're both excited.
It's going to be electric. Electric. Now, where they put you, I don't know. Because they said that they're going to put you up in the balcony. I don't know how you're going to get there.
We'll find a way.
We're gonna Omaha this one probably at game time. So we'll see how this goes. Tell the Red Dragon, hey, I'm gonna test you out real quick. Is the Red Dragon? Are we riding the Red Dragon yet?
No. It's gonna be a while down the road. There's a lot of things that have to happen before we actually get the wheelchair. But step one, getting fitted for it and ordering it is step one. Then the insurance gets involved, and then you have to have a physical therapist come and basically tell you still need a wheelchair, which I think is crazy, but it's got to be done. And then it gets approved by insurance for after that, and then it gets made. It'll probably be like April, to be honest.
Jeez Louise. It's a good thing you don't need one right now.
I know. If I needed a wheelchair bad, I'd be in a lot of trouble.
Boy, we got to get that program fixed. Yikes.
They make you jump through a lot of hoops.
I know a guy. We got a great show for you. Anthony, you're going to get to the scores. What happened? Here we go again. It's that time of year. You're going to get to the scores and what happened last night. Give everybody an update on what happened on that beautiful Wednesday that we had yesterday.
Yeah, and before we highlight some of the scores, I want to remind everybody that we have a full scoreboard that is live updated on ysnlive.com/scores. It is presented by our good friends over at Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs, and our good buddy Mike Swinehart does a lot of work making sure it's up to date. So if you want to know all the scores that happened involving YSN family teams last night, Make sure to go check that out at ysnlive.com/scores. Big volleyball action last night. We had a battle of unbeatens in Canfield between Crestview and Canfield. It's Crestview still proving that they own the area with a 3-1 win in 4 sets over the Cardinals. Lainey Hour, 30 kills last night. She went off by definition. That is the most we've seen on YSN this year.
Big dog nominee.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it. Go out there and make sure you vote for Lainey Hour because she just kind of proved why she's on that list in a heartbeat. So that's a big win for Crestview. Once again, Canfield was looking really good. They were unbeaten as well. They're a bigger school. You could say maybe Crestview walked into this game a little bit as underdogs. Maybe they felt like that. Even though they've had a lot of success, they kind of everyone's talking about what they lost, right? What they lost. And Lainey Hour showed what they still have. A big 4-set win over Canfield. Battle of 1-loss teams in Jackson Milton. I was there for this one. LeBray beats the Blue Jays in 5 sets, 3-2. Kind of a wild 5th set. It got to 14-10. LeBray had match point, but then the match gets stopped. Everyone stopped. We have to go talk to the scores table. A lengthy delay, and it went from 14-10 to 12-11 LeBray, and I had to wait until after the match to confirm what went down. We unfortunately did not have the referees mic'd up, so I couldn't run over there and see what was going on. What happened was a couple of points earlier, LeBray was serving out of order, and they didn't catch it right away, but they caught it eventually. So they had to go back and kind of revert the score to what it should have been. So they went to 12-11. LeBray still was able to win that set 15-13. But it was you never see that. You never see it retrograding from 14-10 to 12-11. It was really crazy to kind of try to broadcast that and get a pulse on what was going on. But LeBray still got the win. That was a tough situation to get out of.
Wait. Slow down. They went back?
Yeah. So it was 14-10. The referee stopped the game. They went over to the scores table. They were looking at the scores table and the books for what seemed like at least 10 or 15 minutes. Even Jackson Milton's AD went over to the scores table to see what's going on. But what ended up happening, I talked to Coach Kitch after the game. LeBray was serving out of order. They didn't catch it right away, but they did catch it at 14-10. So they just kind of went to the scores table. They found out when the server went out of order, and they said, okay, that point actually goes to Jackson Milton. So they kind of reversed the score back to that point in the game. So it went from 14-10 LeBray to 12-11 LeBray with Jackson Milton serving now. So,
all right. So if that happens in any other sport, I've never seen that happen because usually if you make a mistake and you just you just roll, right?
You
just roll because you can't. I've never seen them take points off of the board amidst a live game, especially 3 or 4 points after.
Yeah, like the closest thing you can equate it to, and it happens right away in basketball, is if they decide that actually wasn't a 3, it was a 2. So we'll go back and we'll just take a point off. And it was actually like we gave it a 3.
And not in high school. That doesn't happen in high school. Yeah. Because there's no instant replay in high school.
No.
In most
some like I have seen one high school game where the referee said 3 and put it up, and then the other ref came over and said, hey, I had a better view of that. It wasn't a 3.
Though.
Immediately.
But it's not a situation. This is interesting, Anthony. This is not something that happens every day.
Right.
Because what happens if a team in softball or baseball bats out of order?
Yeah. You have to catch it right away.
Or it doesn't go back.
Yeah, you can't go back. Unless you catch it right away.
This is interesting.
But
I mean, it didn't affect the score of the game.
No, but
overall,
I think if it flipped and Jackson Milton won that 5th set, there'd be a lot of people in LeBray that were pretty upset about that, especially because there's no explanation. The referees aren't going to the stands and saying, hey, this is what happened. So
the referees don't owe anybody that pays money to get in.
Right.
And with all due respect, they don't owe the fans. They have to talk to the coaches and make sure the players understand.
So there was definitely a lot of confusion in the stands while it was happening. A lot of people had no idea what was going on.
Is that a volleyball rule? Do we know that for sure that it reverts, or was that like a on the spot rule?
I think it's a rule. Like you have to revert it if you catch it. Now, if they didn't catch it and it was like 15-10 and LeBray won the match, I don't know if they kind of bring everyone back on the floor. I don't know how that works. I was talking to Coach Kitch, and she's like, I knew it as soon as it happened. I was just hoping they didn't notice it, and they did a couple of points later. She knew it. She's like, oh, crap, that's the wrong server. And then she just kind of like the cat that ate the canary was just sitting there like, am I going to
So-
get away with this?
Okay, I don't want to dive too deep into this because there's a lot to break down here. You snuck this one past me a little bit. And,
Right.
like I'm sitting there just sipping on my A-bomb energy, and all of a sudden you're like, like this was not brought to my attention. This is interesting. Dude, my brain is just so hardwired right now of like what if it would have gone right and nobody says anything.
Right.
Is it a contested game?
I mean, only if it happened because I'm assuming Jackson Milton's bookkeeper was on the ball and
Sure.
then noticed it. If the Jackson Milton bookkeeper like never really even paid attention because it was a libero. The libero served for two different players in the same in the same rotation. So that's what was going on. So
Okay.
whoever was libero tracking for Jackson Milton, if they weren't really on the ball and this kind of, oh, the libero's serving, okay, you circle it. And it just didn't, there's nothing you can do because they didn't mark it down in the book. But the libero tracker for Jackson Milton was on the ball, not all the way on the ball because they caught it 2 points late, but noticed something was wrong and said, wait a minute. And that's when they stopped the match and said, hey, actually, this was out of order. We have to kind of revert that. I've never seen that happen before.
So we've seen batting, and we referenced already batting lineups out of order.
Mhm.
A player will come up when it's not his or her turn to bat.
Mm.
And you know what they do there. Coaches have to wait until the pitch is thrown, and then they call timeout, and they go out to the umpire
Right.
or umpires, and then they raise all kinds of a ruckus because then that player's immediately out.
Right. But I assume you can't do that like two batters later when oh, wait a minute, like this batter went out of order. I just noticed it two batter. Like once the at bat happens, it's too late.
I've never
Like-
I've never seen that two batters later. It's always like the coaches are on it.
Right.
And it's like if it happens two batters later, it's too late.
Right.
You know?
I could be wrong. I've never seen it happen that happen in softball or baseball either.
Well, I guess a lot of this depends on, hey, if you bat two players out of order,
Mhm.
because you bat a player and then let's say you skipped one
Right.
and you bat a player that player's out of order, but then the next player would be out of order as well.
Everyone's out of order.
So everybody's out of order. So I guess you could technically go to it and say this player's out of order. This player. I've most of the time, anytime honestly that I've seen it happen, it's always with two outs, so the inning ends
Right.
anyway. So it's like, okay, now what? Like, who bats now?
And the rarity is probably one of the reasons why it took so long because the referees were like, we've never done this before either. We've never caught one this late. Do we go back to 12-11? And they had a long discussion and that's what it happened. So
My apologies. Please continue.
it was definitely wild. It was definitely a wild fifth set to be in attendance for. And I was right with the fans. I didn't really know exactly what was going on. I had some guesses, but like I couldn't relate to the people watching. Like I know what's going on because I didn't know they were out of order. I don't libero track myself while I'm calling volleyball.
I libero track all the time. That's what I do, and I just killed my libero right there. Okay, we got to get a mute button for you. Got to get a mute button.
Excuse me. I was off the screen. I'm still on the scoreboard. We go into soccer. Some big scores from last night. Crestview on the boys' side got a win over Jackson Milton at home. We have a story and pictures from that game. 2-0. Crestview gets the win. Gary Leininger was in attendance. So if you're a fan of the Crestview boys soccer team or the United boys soccer team, pictures of that match can be found on YSN Live Smug Mug for purchase. Beaver and Central Valley, tie at 2-2 in boys soccer. Garfield scores a lot of goals, 11-2 on the girls' side. They get the win over Brookfield. LeBray and Bristol girls soccer was postponed from last night. Mike Swinehart put in parentheses there was a ref shortage, so they did not have referees for this game, and
What?
they could not play. So let the craziness continue.
Here it is. It's here. We've been waiting for this. Not waiting, patiently. Like we don't want this, but we've heard this down the line. It's coming. Referee shortage. Football, it's coming. Baseball, it's coming. Softball.
Is this the
Volleyball?
first time we've had a game that like is scheduled and then the night of they just don't have a referee show up and they're like, well, I guess we can't play? I don't remember that happening at YSN.
I've never experienced this before, but I've never also experienced a referee shortage in general. Usually, hey, if you have it, it's rescheduled. What game was this?
This was girls soccer, LeBray hosting Bristol.
I'd be interested to talk to the AD about like what happens.
Right.
Not that there's any blame. It's just like we've known for a long time that there is a shortage of referees, which is why you see Thursday night games in football, Friday night games in football, Saturday games in football. Listen, there's rumblings. You're going to see Wednesday football.
See, my wonder is because the referees get scheduled in advance, so they everyone knows where they're going. So what happened in the mix where they had this game scheduled for the Wednesday, and then all of a sudden they found out last night that they weren't going to have a referee be able to get there? That's what's.
I mean, ultimately, it falls on the assigners.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if the assigners have no fish in the barrel, what are they going to do?
Right.
It's a tough conversation to an AD. Hey, we don't have any officials for you.
On the girls' side, Crestview in the doubleheader beats United. On the girls' side, I misspoke. There's pictures for Crestview and Jackson Milton boys on Smug Mug. Crestview girls played United. United got the win on the girls' side 6-2. Crestview got the win on the boys' side over Jackson Milton 2-0. And let's see. Garfield boys and got beat by Brookfield 6-0. United boys got the win over Columbiana 6-2. Middle Ridge boys soccer got the win over Waterloo 4-1. And let's see some other ones that are highlights. Champion boys soccer beats Liberty 8-0. A lot of goals scored in that one. Campbell boys soccer, which is still, I believe, undefeated in the MVAC, gets the win over LeBray 3-0. How about boys soccer and volleyball, both having really good seasons in Campbell? Volleyball is undefeated overall. Boys soccer still heading up the MVAC and the conference. So both those teams having tremendous seasons for the Red Devils. We're going to have an interview with one of the Red Devils players over the weekend, CJ, and I'm not going to try to I have to get the last name pronunciation before the interview because it's a long last name, and I really don't want to butcher it and try it and then get made fun of for not getting it right.
Time to get some journalism going.
You got to get some journalism.
Is that all scores?
Yes, we are good with scores.
Thank you. Appreciate it. This has been brought to you thanks to Burnett Pool Spas and Hot Tubs. And, of course, like Anthony said, you can hop on to YSN anytime and check out the scores for games both on and off the network if they are tied into YSN. So if they're a YSN partner school, certainly Mike Swinehart has you covered across the board. I don't know how he does it. Yeah, I think he's a time traveler. He might be a warlock for as much as I know. Or a wizard, whatever you want to say.
I think your guess earlier on this couple weeks ago, or maybe last week, I don't remember when you said it. He's got elves working for him.
Yeah, he's an alien. There's no doubt.
He's got people working for him.
He's an alien. He's
got a staff.
He's a shapeshifter. Whatever it is. We're just glad he's on our team. So, Mikey, appreciate you. Thank you. Good job. Burnett Pool Spas and Hot Tubs thanks you profusely. So, congratulations. All right. We have some interviews to get to. We're already running late, so we're going to try to do it the best we can, keep on time as we can. Last night, I had a great opportunity to sit down with our first guest, and Bryce Roberts, who is an absolute dog. Hadn't played football since the 7th grade and was able to be talked back into it, recruited in the hallways of Canfield High, if you will. And this multi-sport athlete, a basketball dog, is now really changing the trajectory for Canfield, and is a big reason that they are sitting at 2-0 on this season. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Bryce Roberts. Welcome back, Canfield Nation and YSN Worldwide. It is another opportunity to talk to a player from the Canfield Cardinals. And this guy, well, we've talked to him before. This young man is one that I'm excited to talk about because there's not only the Westminster connection, but this guy, if you watch every Friday night, he's out there hustling, bustling, making plays, jumping over people, mossing people. I think it's this now is the mossing. He's just absolutely, well, he's a dog, to put it politely. Ladies and gentlemen, this time from the lovely abode of the Roberts Mansion, Ladies and gentlemen, Bryce Roberts. What's up, Bryce?
What's up?
You, my friend, and you are up a lot. You're jumping up and down over people, mossing people. Those Columbus folk that walked in last week had no idea what they were up against with you. Looked like you were doing it on both sides of the football too, man. For you, what has this year been like? And has it gone fast already? I know we're in week 3. How fast has the year gone for you?
Yeah, this year, I mean, it's been great. This has definitely been a fast year. It's my senior year. It's my last year. And, it's definitely been crazy because I haven't played football since 7th grade. So this was my first year coming back as a senior. And, I've just loved it. The brotherhood of the team, it's just great.
All right. You said kind of where we were going to go and segueing right into my next question. What brought you back? You haven't played since 7th grade. What brought you back and to be part of this brotherhood?
Yeah, definitely my friends, especially like Landon China, Enzo Coca, to name a few, and Coach Ignazio, they definitely were trying to get me to play this year. And, I just kind of missed the game of football. I definitely had a great love for football. I didn't want to regret anything after graduating high school. So I knew I had to play this year and give it my all.
Most people that come back to the game of football, their senior year are kind of hesitant on the field. You can kind of see it. Okay, they're going to lose a step. They don't want to get hurt. They don't want to have anything bad happen. Dude, you were balling out. I mean, you, like I said, you were mossing people, jumping over people, ripping in footballs. Defensively, you were outstanding as well. For you, is there any stop button to you, or are you just going to go and let the good Lord take you where he takes you?
Yeah, there definitely is no stop to me. When it's game time, I'm just going to go out there, work my hardest, and give it everything I got. I'm doing it all for my team and for the community. And, I'm just going to go out there and play every play like it's my last.
Naturally, your parents, we talked about this before, a couple of Titans. For you to have that competitive nature, do you get it from your parents? And how do you keep it up? Like, how do you keep the iron sharpening iron along the way, all the way up into your senior year?
Oh, yeah, for sure. My parents have been huge influences, especially for basketball. My mom has always been there teaching me the different ways to be a great basketball player. And on the football side, my dad has always been there teaching me how to just be a tough player, to always work hard from when I was playing flag football when I was younger up until now. And he actually coaches me. He's the DB coach on our team. So, we're definitely getting better and going into every week trying to get another win.
Every coach's kid, I got to ask the question, what are those conversations like at the dinner table, your sweet dinner table that you have there at the Roberts house? What are those conversations like? Can dad and you turn it off and just be, father and son, or is it always D-back coach and D-back?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot more to talk about now. We're always somehow game planning, talking about practice, talking about film and what we can improve on for Friday night's game. But, there's definitely that father-son connection too. He's my dad. I love him. He's done so much for me. So, yeah, it's definitely just a great connection that we have.
We talk about week 3. There's a lot to plan for with a team that you've never seen before. What do you find most appealing about playing a team that you've never seen but has been so close this entire time?
I would say definitely just the atmosphere that the game's going to have, with it being game of the week. And, we know Mooney's a great team. They got a lot of athletes, a lot of speed. And, we're just going to go out there, play our hardest, play like a brotherhood, and use all the chemistry that we have to just go out there and play physical, hard-nosed Canfield football.
You've obviously had a lot of success in your basketball career, and you've seen a lot of success in the hallways at Canfield. For you to go 3-0, what would it mean to you, and what would it mean to this team?
I mean, it would mean everything. This game has to be one of the biggest games of the year, especially with it being at home at our place, with it being game of the week. There's going to be a ton of fans on both sides. If we can just go out there, execute, and do how we know, like, what to do, play Canfield football, I think we're going to be just fine.
Did you have any expectations for yourself coming into the season, knowing that you haven't played ball for, 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, this season, it was definitely different. But, I just made the goal with myself to just go out there, no matter where they put me at, just to help the team, no matter, like, what I can do. Like, that's what I'm going to do. And, it's definitely been a different role that I've had to play. But, I'm just out there to give my best on offense and defense.
what's more appealing to you about football that basketball may never be able to contend with?
I would say just the physicality part of it. It's great just going out there, knowing it's going to be a physical game. It's going to be a battle. And, there's a lot more kids on the football team on the field at once than basketball. So just like the brotherhood and the connection that we all have with each other and knowing that we're going to play for each other each and every game.
What's your favorite tradition right now for the Canfield football program?
The favorite tradition has to be ringing the bell after a big win. That's the best, knowing we're all hype in the locker room. Coach lets us out to ring the bell with the band, all the parents and the community and the student section out there. That has to be the best feeling.
What are some of the things you mentioned? It's your senior year. It's your last shot at a lot of things. What's some of the things that you're looking forward to? Maybe not on the football field, but looking at your senior year as a whole and checking the boxes.
Definitely just, well, for the football season specifically, to make the playoffs this year and just to keep stacking days, go week by week, just go 1-0 every week. Especially for basketball, same thing, to make it as far as we can. And for me to just have a great senior year with all my friends.
Tough question here, so forgive me if it's too personal, but do you ever regret not playing football up to your senior year?
Yeah, after this season, after these first couple of games, I think I have a little because, it's so fun being out there with all my teammates, all my friends. I definitely regret not playing earlier in high school, but, I'm not here now, so I'm just going to give it everything I have.
What's next for you, man? If you blink a couple times, your whole senior season, your whole senior year is going to go. What's next for you whenever you graduate?
Well, the goal for me right now is to play college basketball somewhere, hopefully to get a scholarship. I'm probably going to major something like pre-med, something in sports medicine, possibly. So that's my goals.
Westminster, Westminster Titans. I don't know. Sorry, I'm battling the cold here. You said pre-med?
Yeah.
What got you to go in that direction?
I don't know. Just like Sean said, how in anatomy class, I had that class, anatomy and phys, and, just learning about the human body. And I play sports. So just learning about that was definitely interesting. And I feel like it's something I could have a good career in.
This anatomy teacher must be unbelievable because
yeah, she's a pretty good teacher.
Canfield keeps pumping out, med students. That's pretty decent for Canfield.
Yeah.
Speaking of teachers, who are some of the influential teachers you've had along the way?
Well, for sure, that anatomy teacher, her name's Mrs. Angelo. She's a great teacher. I had other great teachers like Mr. Ruark, Mr. Hurdley, who was a former Canfield football coach. So, I've had definitely a lot of great teachers and role models that have led me throughout high school.
You led me right into the next question. We've done this before, but tell me about your role models again and what they mean to you.
My role models are definitely my parents. I mean, they've done so much for me over the years, no matter if it's been for sports, taking me to AAU tournaments, taking me to different tryouts, and just being there anytime I need them to talk to them. They're just great parents, and I wouldn't ask for anyone else.
All right, last question for you, Bryce. What does it mean to you to wear that helmet on Friday nights with that cardinal on the side, with the C on your chest? What does that mean to you, knowing that you've got potentially 13 weeks left at most?
I mean, it means everything. I mean, just for this community and for the team, all my brothers, I mean, it's just a great feeling wearing that, playing for the C on your chest, playing for everyone. It's just a great feeling, knowing that you got the whole community behind you, knowing that it's going to be a great atmosphere every game. It's just a great feeling to help us go out there and win on Friday nights.
Ladies and gentlemen, a great multi-sport athlete and an even better young man who is going to do big things in his future. Give it up for Bryce Roberts. Thank you, Bryce. Appreciate you spending some time with us, man.
Thank you.
So there he is, Bryce Roberts. Absolute dog. He's incredible. What a background, by the way, at the Yoakley house. But only to be one up by the Roberts mansion. I mean, that's that house is gorgeous.
The staircase that goes to nowhere, right?
What, for who? For me or
for your backdrop? The staircase, it's there,
No, I promise you, it goes somewhere.
Who knows where it goes?
Right up. It is a staircase that is it's an expensive staircase.
It's an expensive staircase.
It's an expensive staircase. It goes somewhere, I promise you. It didn't for a while because I don't think we could finish it hey, inflation. That was we built that right in the middle of inflation, like a couple of dummies. But hey, I like it. Did you see the pool in the background?
I did.
It's getting there.
It's
It's
getting
getting
there.
there.
But back to Bryce. What a great athlete. You know, we've been covering him for a while for basketball, but I'm happy to see him put his football helmet back on and lead that team, because we've seen him be a great leader in basketball. And I'm sure
Takes
he's
a lot
going to
of
have a great senior hoop season in the winter. It's not easy to not play football for that long and then put on the pads and the helmet and say, we're going to go play this sport where the job is to hit you very hard, and we're going to play that again. It's not easy.
Well, it takes guts, because you're living in a world that coaches and recruiters are telling you, maybe don't play your senior. You haven't played, don't play. Like, we're good. They don't want to lose their prized possession at the next level. Now, there are coaches out there that say, hey, play as many sports as you can. A lot of them do. But there's also some coaches that are like, you haven't played since 7th grade? Hey, you're good. You're all right.
Maybe football's not the one for you.
Yeah,
if you want to pick up a
pickleball?
sport scene, how do you feel about like soccer?
Pickleball is a great sport to pick up your senior year. Like, they say seniors, you know, there could be some lost in translation situation there. But like, honestly, like, I think Bryce is one of the gutsiest players in this area. And he's, you know, and to answer the question the way that he did, because I didn't know how this was going to go. First time I've ever asked somebody if they regret something. And he's like, yeah, I regret it. I wish I would have played, knowing that the guys that are around, that's awesome. That's why we love guys like Bryce Roberts, because he's not only authentic, but he's going to be straight up with you and tell you stuff. This isn't coach speak or player speak. This is coming straight from the heart. The kid wants to play ball and wants to represent his community, and does a really good job of it. So Bryce, thank you so much for spending some time. Another young man who represents his community. I thought that was my drink, and I was in big trouble. Another man that represents his community very well is a man that, Anthony, you got to interview and sit down with, Ricky Wilrich, who we absolutely love. The rocket-armed, pun intended, quarterback, once again leading the Rockets to what I think is going to be a great season. I really do. I think Louisville is going to be dangerous. You got Coach Drew out there that's getting it done. And, you know, we have QB1 coming on the show. What did you have to talk to him about?
Well, I love talking to him about just the growth from year 1 to year 2 under center as a quarterback, because he was pretty open. Like last year, he felt like he wasn't as confident as a leader. He felt like because of that, it was kind of sensed in the locker room, and he couldn't get things across. He didn't have as much control over what was going on because of his unconfidence. Is that a word? Lack of confidence as a leader. I think everyone else kind of felt that, so he didn't get that respect as a leader last year. And he's like, this year it's different. This year I'm saying what I need to say. I'm being vocal, and people are hearing what I have to say and then falling in line with my leadership. So I think my favorite thing about this interview is hearing the growth in leadership from last year as a quarterback to this year as a quarterback, because as soon as you're put in that position, I don't care what age you are, what class you're in, you're a leader. You have to be to kind of be in that, and to succeed in that position at least. So to see him kind of acknowledge that last year wasn't the best as far as that leadership goes, and to see his growth from year 1 to year 2 under center is really cool. So that was my favorite part of this interview.
Do you like when we tease things? We don't want to give them away. We don't want to just
That's just one part. It's a lot of other things we talk about.
Here's what you're gonna hear.
Here's the whole interview. Here's the script. Here's the transcript right here.
Just turn it off. Like, you don't need any more. Just flick on to the next one. Oh, by the way, there's no other ones that are doing this. So take that.
Take that.
Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Ricky Wilrich.
Anthony Hartwig here with a Louisville football player profile. We're joined by junior and QB1 of the Louisville Rockets, Ricky Wilrich. Ricky, thank you so much for coming up and being a part of this interview. We appreciate it. We look forward to hearing about your season so far.
Yeah, of course.
So here you are. You're a junior and you're officially an upperclassman. What's it like to kind of take that next step and be one of the older kids on the team now?
You know, I could finally actually lead a team instead of just being there, because last year nobody really listened to me, even though I was the guy last year. But now this year people started listening to me more, and I could actually have control of the offense now.
Yeah, so this is a year where I think you earned a lot of respect last year. I think the team kind of saw what you were able to do on the field, and now you come into a year, like you said, where that respect is there, and you have people listening to you. What's that feel like for you to be able to be a quarterback where you now have, like you said, control?
It gives me a lot more confidence now. Last year, I lacked confidence, but this year, I have a lot more. But we've had a rough start. Last game was rough, but the first game, we looked pretty good. So just looking to keep moving forward.
Yeah, like you said, you had a really good week one, a little bit of a rough patch in week two, trying to find that consistency. Talk about what you're doing this week to kind of get back on track and find that consistency through the season.
Our word this week is accountability. So we're holding everybody accountable for what they do and don't do. So everyone just has to step up and do their job, and then we'll be fine.
We're talking about your leadership ability and what it's been like this year to kind of step into that role. How would you describe your leadership qualities? What kind of leader are you on the field?
I'm always trying to bring people up no matter what. I'm never trying to get on anybody too hard, but I will get on people if I need to, just so that they start doing what they need to do so the team could have success.
We've seen a lot of Lowville quarterbacks really shine throughout the last, 5-6 years, and now it's your turn to kind of have that moment. What's it been like for you to watch guys of the past and try to kind of fill those shoes now that you're QB1 yourself?
I've had really big shoes to fill last year following Michael, and Michael had really big shoes following Vinny. But Vinny is now one of our coaches, and I do look up to him. He shows me what to do, what to look for in a defense. So it really helps having somebody that was previous quarterback here and having the same offense pretty much, just helping me figure out things that I need to look for.
That's going to be a monster advantage to have. Vinny Balone is one of the guys that's always in your ear talking to you about what it means to be a quarterback. What's that like? I mean, dive a little bit more into what it means to have someone that literally has done it, been there, did everything on the field for Lowville he possibly could, to have him in your ear and constantly giving you advice.
It means a lot because he showed a lot when he was here. He started for 3.5 years. He started 6 games his freshman year. So, it really means a lot because he has a lot of experience with what I'm doing now.
Now, leadership is not the only thing that comes with being a junior. You're also getting closer and closer to having to make those next level decisions. What are some things that are kind of in your mind about things you want to do after high school? I mean, do you have college football on the table? Is that something that you want to try to pursue?
Yeah, I would really like to play college football, but if it doesn't work out, then I would like to try to be a student manager because I always loved football and I like being around the sport. So I would like to do whatever I can to stick around it.
In this recruitment process, what could a college coach kind of come to you with and put on your doorstep to make you feel like, yeah, this is where I would want to go. This would be a good place, a good fit for me?
Just knowing all the details about the team. So like what kind of offense they run, how I would actually fit into the schemes, and just knowing about the team.
You talked earlier about the love you have for this game. Where did that start? When did you kind of pick up football and make this a sport that you really put a lot of time in?
Well, I started playing flag when I was in like kindergarten or first grade. And then in third grade, I was able to start playing tackle football. And then ever since then, I played both tackle and flag throughout elementary school. And then once junior high started, that's when I really started to take strides and actually learning new things and how to read a defense. So I've always played.
I'm sure little Ricky Woolrich looked at some people that he watched and wanted to be like when he grew up. Who were those football players for you that you watched and said, man, I can't wait to be like him when I grow up?
When I was younger, I actually always watched Tom Brady. So I was a huge Patriots fan when he was there. And I just loved watching him because he was the GOAT.
And our CEO, DJ Oakley's going to love that answer right there. What do you look at now? Like, do you have a favorite team that you watch on the weekends?
Well, the Browns are my favorite NFL team. They're not very good, but it's
Hey,
the
you go
Browns.
through it, man. You go through it. It's all good.
But on Saturdays I watch the Buckeyes, so I do like Julian saying.
That's good. You get the good with the Buckeyes, you get the not so good with the Browns. So you're swimming in good times as a fan. When you talk about Lowville and what makes it so special, what makes you so proud that you're able to put on those colors and represent this school every single Friday night, what are some things that make you proud to be a Rocket?
Honestly, the community's amazing. Our fans travel well. They go to every game pretty much, and they're always there for us.
What are some pregame routines you have? Football pregame seems to be special. That Friday night light atmosphere, especially before the games, you take it in every week. What are some of your favorite parts of pregame on a Friday night?
Honestly, just sitting by myself and listening to music so I could calm down because I get very nervous before every game. So just being by myself and just listening to calming music before every game really helps.
What's on that calming music playlist? What are some things that you listen to get yourself in that right mindset?
I listen to all different types of things. I don't really have a certain song that I listen to. I listen to all different types of things.
When you think about, what it takes to be QB1 and the special mindset it takes to go out there and hold the ball more than anybody other than the center, what's that like for you to be able to kind of have that much say in what happens on the football field?
Being the quarterback, you really have to know every single position, even the line. You have to know everything that they do so that if someone needs help with that, you could tell them. And then just being able to go out there and just play freely and not get upset at yourself.
I want to talk about role models. Obviously, we talked about your football role models being Tom Brady and other guys you watch on Saturdays and Sundays. But when you talk about role models in real life, the ones that are always there for you that you kind of go to in times of trouble, who are those role models for you?
I really looked up to Michael when he was here. I was always with him. And then also Matt Lucido, too. I always hung out with them. I always got great advice from them. So they always helped me.
We're talking about cute quarterbacks of the past that put you under their wing. Who's the next guy that you're putting under your wing now that you know that when you're done and you're able to pass that torch of quarterback, Lowville won't be searching for long for the next one?
Carter Vizdak is the guy that is under my wing now. So I'm trying to do everything in my capability to help him grow the way that Michael did with me.
When you talk Lowville football and the program and the way that you guys play football, how would you describe this team and the personality of this locker room?
Every year everybody says that we lose everybody and that we're rebuilding and we're trying to gain new people, but we're really not, because people don't look at the people that we still have. We had Josh Pazel, AJ Belkey, Nicky LaRosa. We had those kids this year. Last year we lost Gino, Nick Donatelli. So we just need people to step it up and start learning their positions so that we could still win games and be successful like we were.
Some teams don't hear that noise. Some teams use it to fuel themselves. I mean, have you guys heard all that chatter about Lowville lost too much, they're not going to be the same Lowville? Do you use that to kind of motivate you?
Yeah, of course we use it. Coach Drew uses that as our motivation before every game. He always says that everybody says that we're down this year and that we don't have the size, we don't have the numbers, but honestly, we're still one of the best teams in our conference, even though we did lose a bunch of key players from last year, but now we still have me, Josh, AJ, Nicky, so we're still able to do the things that we did last year.
All right, let's talk about you outside of the football field and inside the classroom. You're a junior now. Junior year is always, in my eyes, when we talk to people, some of the hardest in the classroom because you're kind of taking care of the last stretch before you can take the foot off the gas pedal a little bit in the classroom your senior year. What's it like for you as a student athlete in your junior year in the classroom?
Just making sure all my assignments are done on time, because this year we got a couple new teachers, so they're different. I'm still learning from them, and just making sure I could get good grades and doing the best I can so that if I do have a chance of going anywhere for football, I could show them that I'm a hard worker in the classroom.
People don't realize how much time you have to juggle, especially football players, to juggle the classwork and the practices and the film study. And then you also have to do the homework and the assignments. When's your favorite time to kind of get some stuff done between practices and games and film study and all that stuff you have to do for football?
I try to get all my schoolwork done during study hall and during the school day so I don't have to worry about bringing any assignments home. And then after that, I just watch film on my own time just to see like how teams like set up and stuff. And then after that, I just relax.
Obviously, you watch the other team's film. How much do you watch yourself? And you think about things that you can improve on. Do you watch yourself more than other teams, you think?
I would definitely say I watch myself more than other teams because I always try to learn from my mistakes that I've made, bad reads that I made. But I also do watch the other team a lot because I'm always trying to learn on how to compare what defenses they are running.
All right, we like to end these player profiles the same way every time. We want to give you the chance to take the limelight off yourself and shine on the people in your life that have your back, that support you, that you wouldn't be here without. So I want to give you the time to give out some shout outs, some flowers to the people in your life that really deserve it.
Definitely my mom. She's always there for me. She does whatever she can, and she always has my back. She gives me great advice all the time, and she's always there for me.
All right, Ricky, we want to thank you so much for coming on, talking to us about your junior season. We wish you the best of luck. We can't wait to be out there again every night covering Lowville football, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Yep, appreciate it.
So there you have it. A young Thomas Brady, right in his prime. He said that, and I yelped. Yep.
I saw. I was like in the background. There you go. There's DJ. He's happy.
QB1. Slinging it. He's got that Brady effect, like very calm. I think next year maybe even more confidence coming off of a year that he could be an absolute dog. I don't know, man. It's a big comparison, but I don't think he's far off, if I may. As a football pundit, I would say he's pretty much on track. I'll give him the Tom Brady blessing here.
I like that. I'll give him
yeah, you get the blessing of the YSN media. All right, our last interview. Thank you, Ricky, by the way, for taking some time for Anthony and us. Our last interview comes to you from Giangelo's on Tuesday night. This was maybe the best interview that David Rock has ever done. And he's done some good ones. And he's done some great ones. But I want you to just stay focused on what he brings to the table and the expectations that he has for the South Range Raiders, his group, not just on the field, but in the classroom, and how he wants them to attack every single day as a South Range Raider coach and the culture that they're creating over there on the campus of South Range High School. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, give it up for my dear friend and Coach Supreme, Mr. David Rock.
And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to Giangelo's here on 224 in Boardman. It is the South Range Raiders show. Thank you all for coming out. We appreciate you. And week 2 in the books. We turn our attention to week 3, but we got to do a little highlighting of the history, and history was good on Friday. The South Range Raiders take down Salem for the first win of the season, going to 1-1 on the year. And ladies and gentlemen, to recap all of that and more, give it up for your head coach of the South Range Raiders. Give it up for David Rock.
Thank you.
All right, Coach. I got a lot of texts following week 1 about who the South Range Raiders were. I can tell you I didn't get nearly as many texts last Friday. That had to feel good getting the first win of the season.
Yeah, I was really happy for our guys. I think we were an upset football team, after week 1, and as happy as I was, with the performance in week 2, and happy for the kids to get a win and to see some of their hard work, come to fruition. I'm probably more proud just of the improvement, that we saw from week 1 to week 2, which is again, just a credit to our kids for getting up off the mat and rebounding in the way that they did.
You certainly learn a lot more from losses than you do wins most of the time, but you also can garner a lot more questions from losses about your team than you do wins. What did you learn about your team in week 2 that maybe were up in the air in week 1?
I think we knew this, but they just proved that they're a resilient group. You know, as upset as they were, and as heartbroken as they were, you know, after the way week 1 went, just really proud of the way they responded throughout the week and their attention to detail. And I think we learned, you know, like you said, we learned a lot from a loss. And I think in that loss, we our eyes were open to some of the little things. You know, we had to be a more disciplined football team and had to prepare a different way and play a different way. And, you know, we talked at length about playing with great emotion, but not playing emotional. And I was really proud that our guys were able to kind of put that on display Friday night.
You and I were chatting about the game on Friday night. A lot of dirty laundry on the field. For you, when you see that, those are disciplinarian things. Those are things, obviously, you can control. A little frustration, but also, as you said, if you're going to play aggressive, you're going to have to live with some of those things.
Yeah, I think, you know, penalties kind of fall into one category or the other. We had some procedural errors that are unforced and don't give you any kind of advantage. You know, and then we had some of the holding stuff. But as much as those were aggressive penalties, I think they can all be attributed to we've got to play with a little bit better technique in some certain situations, in some certain spots, and we're working hard at trying to address that right now. I don't know. You know, we were fortunate that we were able to overcome. We had 16 penalties for 157 yards. I mean, that's a ton and way too many. Again, you can live with a couple of the holdings and so on and so forth, but when it's a result of poor footwork or hand placement, that, you know, that's stuff that we continue to work on. Naturally,
there's a common opponent that Salem had between week 1 and week 2, and that's in the NE8. That's in conference. For you guys, what did you see on tape against Salem, or Salem and Poland, I should say, that you saw that maybe you could deliver on and then even take it to the next level against the Quakers?
You know what? Not as much as you'd think, actually. They just stylistically, they were a lot different against us than what they were against Poland, which seems like it's a theme with us. You know, we're never quite sure what we're going to get with the team, but they really did play a lot different defensively than what we expected. Now, offensively, it was a different tune. I think offensively they were really similar to what they were, you know, in both games. And our guys did. I got to tell you, our kids came in Friday for a walkthrough in the morning. They came in Thursday pre-practice to watch some extra film, and I was really proud of the way those guys kind of finished last week. We didn't have a great practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I thought Thursday and Friday, yeah, we really cleaned things up, and I think our guys played a lot more confident and fast and loose, you know, probably because of it.
You talk about confidence. I don't think anybody played with more confidence than the offensive line on Friday night. It looked like they put their act together between weeks 1 and week 2. What was the conversation like with the big boys for that week, and especially Thursday leading into Friday?
I think it's the same as it continues to be. You know, we've got to continue to play with, just focus on the little things and be more disciplined. We've got to take better steps. We've got to, you know, have our eyes in the right place, communicate at a higher level. I think we're really fortunate that we have all those seniors up there and they're really good players. You know, the one thing that's a little bit unique is they haven't played a ton together just yet, you know, and it's only going into week 3, but those guys continue to improve on the communication side of things. And that's a big part of playing up there that I think that we need to continue to work on.
I think one of the biggest things that we saw, the progression, the growth of your sophomore quarterback and Nick Toy. I mean, this was the chatter across everybody. Every text message I was a part of on Friday night, not even when the game was over, during the game, was Nick Toy is special. This is a special kid, and he hasn't even scratched the surface on what his potential is. For you, did you see that growth in your skills players like Nick?
Yeah, I mean, I just told the guys today how impressed I was with the growth, you know, between weeks 1 and week 2. Now we have to do it again, you know, between week 2 and week 3 and so on and so forth. But Nick's obvious, he's a special talent. I mean, I think we've known that for a long time, and there's some really good guys on the perimeter and up front that really make his job a little bit easier. But I don't think we were surprised by anything that he was doing because, again, we've seen it for 2 years now, and we've seen it throughout camp. And one of the things that was cool to see that we haven't seen as much, I think, throughout camp was some of the chip on his shoulder stuff. He got hit late on one after he completed a ball on a big third down for us and kind of got up John at a defensive lineman. And I thought that was pretty cool to see. I know how gritty he is, and I know how tough and just his willingness to compete. I know how he is. Sometimes I think he's so reserved and modest and humble and all of those things that you don't see that side of him a whole lot. But it was cool to see him, you know, play with a little bit of fire and let those guys know about it a little bit.
This underclassmen bunch kind of has that moxie, has that swagger. How do you keep them within the lines of regulation, so to speak, and timid as opposed to, letting them go too far off the leash?
Yeah, look, I want them to play with confidence, and we talked last week about, how do you become confident? I didn't think we looked as confident in week 1 as what we need to look, and I think a big part of that, we talked, like, how do you get confidence? And I think it goes back to discipline. If you're disciplined enough to do things the right way over and over again, Monday through Thursday, then you'd like to think that, you're going to play confident on Friday, you know what you're doing. And I think that, last week, Friday, the confidence they played with was directly related to the discipline they showed Monday through Thursday.
All right, I'm going to ask you to take it back a little bit, back to your playing days when you're a defender, outstanding defender. If you knock down a quarterback the way that Nick got knocked down, he gets up and jaws at you the way that you saw your quarterback jaw that defensive lineman, what does that do to your psyche?
I don't know. I mean,
what would that do to you?
I think I'd probably draw back just knowing how I am, but I still think it was cool to see, and I think that it just showed that, number one, how confident and how poised he was in that situation, but number two, I think he was letting him know, like, listen, I'm here to stay, and I might be a sophomore, but I'm not going to play or compose myself like a sophomore, nor would I expect him to, and so it was cool to see that stuff.
All right, let's turn the page to Barberton. Week 3, on the road again. When you think about Barberton, you've seen the tape, what do we have to evaluate?
I think they have some really good guys on the perimeter. I think they're fast. Watching them play Stowe last week, you could see some bursts where they were getting some guys, vertically down the field, and some cutback plays and some special teams plays that we have to make sure, that we're continuing to clean up. I thought we were a lot better on special teams in week 2, which is pretty clear to anybody that has a pulse. But we've got to continue to get better there because those guys are dangerous, and then obviously they're big up front. Anytime you're playing up a couple divisions in a big Division II school, they're going to have some bodies up front. And we're going to have to match their physicality and play with great pad level and all those kinds of things.
One of the biggest things that I admire about you and about the administration of South Range is that never back down attitude. Do you think there will be any PTSD, so to speak, about playing up 2 divisions on Friday night against a team that has more to pull from and is a bigger in division?
No. I mean, they can play 11 guys at a time. We can play 11 guys at a time. And I think that, the level of confidence that we show on a Friday night is going to be decided between, what we do between now and Friday, and how we handle a long bus ride and how we handle a walkthrough on Thursday and all that good stuff. But, I think our guys are going to go out and play with confidence because they've earned the right to play confident based on the way they prepared. I think we've had a great practice. I would back up and say Saturday was a great practice for us. We came in and our guys were obviously, I think, satisfied with or happy with how we played. But understand we've got to get a lot better. And as happy as they were with a win, they also understood, like, that's not our goal is not to win a football game in week 2. Our goal, we have bigger goals than that. And the number one goal for us is getting better every day. And so they showed up ready to work Saturday. We've had a great practice today and Monday. And I think as long as we continue to do that, they'll show up Friday and play with confidence.
Everybody talks about a loss and how it can kind of rejuvenate you and gets everybody sharpened because it kind of calibrates the system. It feels like the win did that. I mean, you're talking about that with the win going into Saturday's practice. Do you feel like the win carries more momentum than a loss in this situation? I know it's hard to put your finger on 2 weeks in, but you've been around this group and you've seen kind of the years of South Range. Do you feel that that's a good boomerang opportunity?
I think momentum is a real thing and it's important. I also think that we're trying to brainwash our whole program into saying, I don't care about the result or what's already happened. Like, I'm worried about getting better today. And I'm worried about improving and how good can we get. And that's really our goal. As much as we are on a quest to win a football game on Friday night, we also understand that our goal today was to get better on a Tuesday. And we did that, and our goal tonight is to recover. And, we better have 50 guys that are at school on time tomorrow, and they better be sitting in the front of the classrooms and handling all the things that are important, and I think if we continue to do those things, then we're going to find success on a Friday night. But, the result is not on the front of our mind as much as the process has to be.
Let's talk about that. Let's rewind just a couple steps. You mentioned front of the classroom, making sure they're paying attention. You don't want them to just be leaders on the football field. You want them to be leaders in the classroom, in the community. Can you share some of the expectations you have as a coach and a coaching staff for them in the school?
I think you just said it. I want them to be leaders in the community and in the classroom, and I want them to treat, the staff in the school. I want them to treat their classmates the right way. And we told them before they left today, the last thing we said, remember who you are and remember who you represent and what you represent. and those guys take that really seriously, you know, and I hope we don't have to have any reminders at practice about getting to school on time and acting the right way in the classroom. But we also, and I think our guys understand, that there's a direct correlation between those things that you're doing off the field and how you perform on the field. You know, we talk all the time about don't wake up and hit snooze. You know, that's a loss, and you're programming yourself to be okay with losing. I want them to wake up and get out of bed and get after it. You know, and that's a win. And I think if you make winning a habit, winning's a lot easier. You know, on the other hand, if you're accepting of losing, you know, then it becomes a habit as well. So you got to be really careful about those things off the field and how they translate to your play on the field.
All right, let's talk about one of the things that most people don't realize is coaches, administrators, and certainly coaching staffs have to juggle at South Range amongst a few other schools is the Canfield Fair.
Yeah.
You guys have a lot of 4-H, a lot of people that are integrated, invested in the Canfield Fair. What is that week like? And I'm sure there's a lot of juggling that has to go on and communication between the players, the coaches, the administration, all that stuff.
Yeah, we have a bunch of guys that are involved in 4-H and or the fair, you know, in another capacity. And I was really proud of the way those guys handled it this year. As long as they're communicating, I understand that's a way of life for a lot of those guys. And that's how they make their money for, you know, whatever they need it for. And so it's important. I mean, it's ingrained in the culture here, and it's a good problem to have. I think a lot of the things that they learn in 4-H or otherwise, you know, are part of what makes us good. You know, they're disciplined guys that wake up and go to work and have some accountability, and I think that's really important. You know, it was cool. We took the kids, Julie and I took the kids up to the fair Thursday night when our guys weren't allowed to be there, but there was some of our players that knew they had to show that night. Or actually, it was during the auction, and as soon as we got there, I think we saw 3 or 4 of our football guys or former, some of my former students that were auctioning off their animals, and it was just really cool to see. I've never been to the auction there, and it was just cool to see, you know, those guys have success in a different way, and to see them excited about, you know, all the hard work that they had done that led up to that.
For you, it's got to be awesome having the kids at this age go into a fair. Did you ride any rides or?
No, they let us off pretty easy. Well, I shouldn't say that. I think we spent $100 on food the first day, and we were there for about 3 hours. So we walked in, and Dave said he wanted 3 corn dogs, and so that was the first expense. And but no, they had a blast there, and they're at a cool age right now where they really enjoy seeing the animals. So, you know, we didn't do a whole lot of rides or games or that normal stuff. It was basically we ate food, and we went to go look at animals and saw some of the guys and saw a bunch of the students there, which is really cool.
I'm guessing that David wasn't the heavy portion of that $100. What did you eat at the fair?
I was good. I had, I think I had 1 gyro and I had 1 cinnamon roll.
Okay.
But that was it. I was maintaining as much discipline as I could have, mostly because I couldn't afford anything more than that.
If you were throwing that discipline out the window, what are you having?
Oh man, I wish I would have got a couple steak hoagies and some milkshakes. That's kind of my go-to there, and I didn't get a chance. We were just kind of busy. Julia had a gyro with me, and we had a really good one, so that was nice.
Awesome. Coach, thank you so much for the time. Good luck in week 3. We appreciate you sitting down with us here at Giangelo's. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up. Head ball coach, Dave Rock.
Told you. I told you. That guy, I would run through a wall for. I mean, don't hit the snooze button. It's like losing. If you're okay hitting the snooze button, you're okay with losing. I ain't snoozing and I ain't losing, baby.
I used to hit the snooze button and I just defeated myself because I said, you know what? I'm going to put the alarm clock so far away from the bed that I have to get out if I want to hit the snooze button. So at that point, I'm like, well, I'm already out of the bed. I'm not going to hop back in. So, you know, I found a way to make sure I don't hit the snooze button because there's no way I can without getting out of the bed. So,
dude,
that's how you do whatever it takes.
Accountability.
If it's next to the bed, no, there's no way.
Accountability. It's one of those things. Like, I needed to hear that, and it, like I said, it pumped me up. So the alarm clock goes off at 6:20 this morning. I'm looking at it. I'm not letting Dave Rock down. I'm not losing today for Coach Rock. I got right out of bed. I'm ready to go. Let's roll. Wash your face off. Let's go. Brush your teeth. Probably did it backwards today. Brush your teeth, then got breakfast.
Whoa.
Had to brush teeth again. Yeah, it was. Ooh. This thing called school got me shaken up. It rocked me a little bit. Z-Man, day 2. Day 1, impeccable. Day 2, my man was a little slow on the get up this morning. So little prayers and thoughts for Z-Man as he tries to navigate another 177 days of this. Oh boy. Oh boy.
1 day down. 2 days down.
Hey,
really, if you count
well,
today.
hey, I haven't picked him up yet.
Right.
Okay.
Yet.
That's
But
not a win
over
yet.
an hour. A little over an hour before pickup.
Not a win yet. We're hoping big man's in school just dominating the second grade. I think he is. I think he's having a great year. And David, how about we're talking about David? 3 corn dogs? Had a baby. Had a
Let's
baby.
go. Let's go.
Let's go. That's the future of the South Range brand right there. That's what I'm talking about. And Geneva, of course, was just her delightful self with the cool Raiders get up every single week, representing. Love it.
Did you tell him that we signed Geneva? So now we have a Geneva on the network and his daughter's Geneva too. A cool little.
With all due respect to Geneva High School, I will always be a Geneva Rock fan. She's the tribal chief. There's no doubt. It's apples and oranges, but I'm going to hey, by the way, Geneva, Bryce Pete, first ever player, Big Dog nominee.
Let's go.
Congratulations, young man. I think that's his. I'm starting to second guess my recognition. I think it's. Oh boy! Don't kill me! Don't kill me!
Nope, there it goes.
Don't kill me! My confidence just went right down the drain. I said it with some gusto. Then I was like, man, I really hope that's the right name. Because we had a Bryce today.
Yeah, Bryce Roberts.
Man. Hey, Mr. Pete, we're gonna go with that right now. You made a name for yourself. I just gotta pick it up. So Sam will cover me tonight. Thanks to all our guests that showed up. Obviously, those were tape delayed today. We want to thank Bryce Roberts. We want to thank Ricky Wilrich and, of course, Coach Dave Rock of South Range for popping on, giving us some time, and certainly drawing attention to the culture, what it takes to be an athlete, why resilience is so important, all these things that these great student athletes in our coverage area bring to the table, and we love being able to let it shine. So we are going to get to our Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, presented by Joe Dickey Electric. They are everything electrical. No, they are always available to you 24/7, 365 at DickeyElectric.com. Ronaldo, what is your spark?
My spark today goes out to Jackson Milton AD. I was able to talk to Abby last day. When you talk about going above and beyond for your student athletes, she realized there was a little bit of a bus driver shortage in which a lot of schools are dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Got her certificate to become someone that is able to drive students on the bus, and she gets athletes to their games if they need it. I think yesterday she had to drive the golf team in the afternoon and then drive the boys soccer team to Crestview, and then got back in time to be there for the varsity volleyball match. So that's putting in the extra mile.
Abby,
let's go.
Nice job, Abby.
Let's go.
Hey, you know what? I've always said about Abby, when there is a problem that happens, she's the one bringing the wagon full of solutions to throw at those problems. That's awesome. That's awesome. I would not ever ask any other athletic directors or any athletic director to do that. That is a whew. You want to talk about above and beyond? Holy cow. That's athletic director of the year stuff.
That's right there.
We've never done it before. That might be a pin to, hey, come on. Somebody needs to acknowledge that. Nice job, Anthony. That's journalism. That's journalism. Did that fall right in your lap last night?
It did.
Okay.
Yep. I was like, oh, that's cool.
That's our type of journalism right there. That's we call that lazy boy journalism. Anthony's kicked back in his chair, and Abby's like, "Hey, this is what I do." Oh, there's my spark.
There it is. Got one. Don't have to panic.
Just a little less work for Anthony. I mean, hey, with as much work as you have on your plate, buddy, hey, take them when you can get them. Take them when you can get them, buddy. I'm proud of you. That's journalism. And good job, Abby. Good job. My spark is listen. I'm not going to say any names from this standpoint, but little guy, that is dear friends with our family. There's a great family that we're very close with. Dad's a coach in like everything, and the little guy breaks his wrist on a scooter. Tough. Yeah, it's not the end of the world, right? Everybody knows, but tough because he's at that age where he wants to be hanging out with his buddies and playing and developing. And again, when dad's the coach, but I want to give a shout out to not only my buddy who broke his wrist in the first grade, which is just challenging, right? Because he's going to miss out on all the fall sports that he wants to play. But in a situation like that, dad's coaching everybody else's kid. You know what I mean? And like, what's in it for him? Never waver. He's excited to develop the entire team and include, okay. Anthony's gone, to include the other kids in it. So, hey, proud of you. Thank you. You know who you are. And you probably, a lot of you people watching the show probably know who he is too. So thank you so much for what you do. All you coaches out there that do it the volunteer way and to make other kids better and to give other kids a role model. That is exactly what we need more of in this world. So thank you very much. Thanks to Anthony Ronald Hartwig, who disappeared all of a sudden, once again for being the co-pilot of this show. Thanks to you for watching here on YSN Live. Thanks to our guests today, Bryce, Ricky, and Coach Rock for stopping by. Thanks to our awesome sponsors in Greenwood Chevrolet, as well as Toyota of Warren, who make days like today possible. And of course, thanks to Joe Dickey Electric. That is YSN Live for this Thursday, the 4th day in September. We hope it's the best one you ever have. And we will see you, and we will try harder again tomorrow. And like I say to Anthony Ronald Hartwig, the 8-time bestseller and world traveler, as always, may the sports be with you. We'll see you tomorrow right here at noon on YSN Live. Don't forget about zone coverage tonight, 6 p.m. live from Beaver, Pennsylvania. Peace. YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of your sports network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.